We're taking all your questions that we get in via Twitter, Facebook, and email, and we've got Dr. Karyn Gordon here. The first one, I know so many of us can relate. It's dealing with a spouse who snores. So this is interesting. My husband's snoring concerns me. He thinks it's funny. He says he just has a stuffy nose. He's a fit guy. He's not overweight. But it's very disruptive, which I understand. How do I get him to take this seriously? So, she thinks that there may be a real concern here.
It is so hard. So put your hand up if you've had somebody, a neighbor, or not, a friend, a family relative, you've been in a house where you hear the snoring.
Yes.
I cannot sleep.
Yes.
I cannot sleep.
It's hard.
It is hard. So what you want to do is you want to say, honey, I love you so much. Start positive.
Yeah.
I love you so much. So much. So much. I want to have so much sex with you. So much. But that snoring is getting in the way. So can we problem solve? Or what could we do?
Yes.
I really think that couples, we have to start working more on problem solving skills. So option number one is a lot of times people will go to bed earlier so that they can kind of get into that deep sleep. I find some couples, they do have separate rooms as a strategy, which is okay. You just want to make sure you're kind of still hooking up.
That's right.
Yeah, as long as you can do this as a strategy, for sure. But because people need their sleep.
Right. I think, she might also be thinking, is this sleep apnea?
And it could. And so you want to for sure go to your doctor, because I've had clients before where they've had certain things that they can actually do to kind of physically help that as well. Yeah.
Okay, good. Problem solving. And please, dear, go to the doctor. I'll come with you. It'll be fun. We'll go to lunch after.
Yes, and then we'll have sex.
Right.
Yes, they'll get on board. They can get on board.
One for you, one for me. Okay, so this person has a 19-year-old daughter. It's her first year of university. She's going out there to take on the world, and of course, as a parent, she is kind of freaking out. She's afraid about her daughter experiencing failure or disappointment.
Yes.
And really sort of developing grit and resilience, like most of parents can understand. So when does she step in, and when does she let her just fly?
So this is such an interesting one. Angela Duckworth's book, Grit, I don't know if you've read, it's a fabulous book. I seriously recommend it. Around basically, how do we develop the sense of resilience and grit in our kids? So the irony with this question is the very way that we actually build grit and resilience is actually to allow our children to fail.
Yeah.
So it becomes like this circular thing. So if we're always rescuing them, they actually don't develop the muscle.
Right.
So we need to start teaching our children how to think about failure. I have never met a successful person in my entire life who has not experienced failure.
Yeah.
So failure is part of the process. It's not something to avoid. It's actually saying that it's going to happen. So how are we going to respond when it's going to happen? So what you could do for this mom, what I would actually say is, there's probably going to be stuff that you love, something, stuff that's great, some part that's actually not great. So when you hit kind of those roadblocks and those bumpy roads, no problem. Then let's talk about it in terms of how you can strategize. So you want a partner.
Yes.
Okay, kind of back to that overfunctioning, underfunctioning. Partner, do not take over.
Okay.
Do not rescue.
Right.
Rescuing actually will not build the resilience grit muscle. But you don't want to just stand back because we love our children. So think about it like your child is learning how to ride a bike. We want to walk beside them, but don't hold on to the bike.
So if they don't ask for help, do you even bring it up?
You could. I think it's good to have regular check-ins. I mean, especially when a child's gone off to university for the first time. That's a lot to manage. So one of my favorite questions, we've talked about this before in the show, is I like to say, what are your 3 highs, 1 low? It kind of gives you a bit of a snapshot with what's happening, because there are going to be bumps.
Yes.
Yeah.
There should be. That's actually life.
Right, and so when we talk about managing expectations, if we can kind of talk about, here's, I think, some of the bumps, so when this happens, how would you maybe respond? So you kind of almost get a child to start thinking ahead of time. That will actually really help.
What's interesting is that I feel like when we were growing up, our parents, we didn't necessarily know if our parents could help us or not, and we were sort of on our own journey and doing our own thing.
Yeah.
I think now as parents, we're so involved and we actually know we can fix it. So it's very difficult to not do it. Like, we know we can do it. I can step in and fix that easily.
Right.
But now I'm supposed to not. I'm supposed to actually sit there and watch you flop.
Yes.
And that is a tough thing for us to do.
It is, and so that's where we have to be very mindful on what is our end goal.
Yeah.
Right? Because as a parent, if we really want to build strong, resilient, confident children, we do have to let them fail.
Yes.
It's kind of like, it's like really like riding the bike.
It is.
Unless you want to hold on to that bike your whole life, and you could be doing it a long time.
Yes.
Then you want to make sure that you are walking beside them, but you got to let go.